Welcome in, Chipola Nation. I'm Donnie Tyndall, head men's basketball coach here at Chipola. Before we get started with these two guys, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our team and where we sit. Give you a brief update. We're currently 21-6. We are second in the state. We are first in the Panhandle Conference with 3 games remaining. And we are 10th in the country. So we've got a pretty good thing going. We lost a tough game by 1 at the buzzer to Gulf Coast in our last game, but we have 1 game at home remaining. It's going to be March 1st against Northwest Florida. That'll be sophomore night for our 8 sophomores. We hope that you'll come out and support us. If you haven't been out, that's the night, last home game, so we hope to see you here. Now to introduce these guys, Willis Mackey here on my left is one of my assistant coaches. Philip Pattison is also one of my assistant coaches. Both of these guys are young rising stars in the profession. I've had 6 or 7 assistant coaches move on from here at Chipola with me to Division I schools, to head junior college coaches, and these guys are certainly going to fit right into that category in due time. So with that being said, Willis, tell us a little bit about where you're from, your high school, college playing career. Just tell them the whole deal, national team experience, all that good stuff.
Got you. So my name is Willis Mackey Jr. I'm born and raised in the Bahamas. I pretty much grew up playing baseball, actually, and found the sport of basketball, I guess, later on in my life. I was always one of the guys playing around on the parks and stuff with my friends when I was younger, but it was never something that was a real serious thing for me. I moved to America when I was 16 to pursue college, actually, for baseball, but I picked up basketball and played 1 year of high school basketball and really fell in love with it, and it pretty much took me to the next level, which was at the University of Northwestern Ohio, which is an NAIA school up in, obviously, in Ohio. So I played there for 4 years. First 2 years, I was trying to figure it out, just like most players. And by my junior, senior year, I pretty much felt, confident as a player and really took off and had a pretty good senior year that prompted me to play professionally for 4 years overseas. And got the call with my national team for Team Bahamas. Got to play with some NBA guys who play all over the world, and done some really cool things. So I've been fortunate to play with a lot of good guys, be on some really good staffs, and now that basketball is over, trying to figure out what the next step is and getting into coaching and all of that, and that's what brought me to Chipola. So.
Well, we're glad you're here. Yeah. Coach Jay may try to steal you if he hears you're playing a heck of a baseball player.
Oh, yeah,
you may need to cut that part of the show out. But Philip, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Hi, I'm Philip Pattison. I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I played basketball all my life, growing up, high school. I played 1 year in college at NAIA school, and then I transferred to UMKC, the University of Missouri, Kansas City, where I was a student manager for 3 years. I worked with some pretty good staffs and learned a ton, and made some connections that helped me get here at Chipola. So I'm just really happy to be here learning.
Now, these guys that can both shoot it a little bit, after or before practice at times, they talk a little trash as to who shoots it better. But can we get any agreement here, or are we still up for debate as to who shoots it better?
No debate. No debate.
No
debate.
All right. Now, you left out, you mentioned about working out with the national team.
Yeah.
And you also kind of left out the fact that you were a heck of a player at the school you were at, the NAIA school in Ohio. Great career your last 2 years. And you went on and played how many years of professional basketball?
4 years.
4 years, which is incredible. No, Most guys dream of doing that. Yeah. Had a knee injury and said, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
And then the national team opportunity comes along, which is an unbelievable honor. And this past year, you guys were 1 game away from qualifying for the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Tell our fans a little bit about being with the national team, that experience. The head coach is an assistant for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
So the amount of basketball you must get to learn is just amazing.
Yeah, so I guess from the playing perspective, I got the call pretty much to play with the national team my first year overseas. I was playing in Spain. My situation at the time was just pretty much a get your foot in the door type situation. I came from an NAIA school, which, like he said, to make it professional from the NAIA is difficult. And I was pretty much playing almost for free,
Yeah.
I just wanted the opportunity, and I was playing really well. I ended up winning the Player of the Year my first year in Spain for the entire league, which prompted the national team to give me the call. Started playing with them. I played, I think, 15 games with the national team over 4 years. Had 25-point games, really good games with them. And so I kind of gained the trust of the staff. And Chris DeMarco, the head coach for the national team, Warriors assistant, I asked him, I say, I know I'm not playing anymore, but I still want to be a part of this, like this is what I want to do. I know coaching is something that I want to do, so how can I be a part? And he gave me the opportunity to be with the team. And like you said, we've been all around the world. We were in Spain last summer trying to literally qualify for the Olympics. It was a surreal experience. Yeah. Players like DeAndre Ayton, Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, like I could go on and on with the list. And the players that we played against Giannis, play against Vucevic, you play against some real cool guys, and you get to learn so much and really see how the game strategy at that level is so much different, Yeah. And also, the players are just incredible players. But the amount that I got to learn and be a part of was so cool. But, every level is different. And what I learned here and what I learned there, putting it together, I think only makes me, better learning the game and being at it.
Well, that's quite an honor. And who beat you to go to the Olympics? What team was it?
Spain.
And that's the host team of the region
Spain.
You were playing in, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's big time.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be part of a national team, certainly USA basketball, but even if it was coaching in another country, I just think that experience would be amazing. That's really cool. And then, Philip, you played a year of NAI ball and then went on to be kind of a student assistant, graduate assistant, if you will, at UMKC. Had an outstanding head coach there, and Coach Bromwell, right? Yeah, not Bromwell. I'm sorry. Donlin, who works for Coach Bromwell now. Yeah. And then my buddy, Steve Payne, was an assistant on that staff. And that's how I got to know about Philip. And Philip, tell us about your Division I experience, because certainly that experience has helped you get ready for this opportunity, because you wear a lot of hats at this level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just what Willis was saying. I mean, the players are just so great, and then just the strategy at that level is completely different, and it's just a lot more intricate and a lot more detail oriented, I would say. But it's just really cool getting to see some of those guys you see on TV, or getting to be in a place like Allen Fieldhouse where it's just rocking and unbelievable environment. And I mean, when I was at that level, I really was just focus more on video, but then you come down to a place like a JUCO where you have to worry about recruiting, video on the court, game plan, and all that stuff. So it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, but it helped prepare you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because even though your main responsibility was video, you got to see how the recruiting was handled. You got to see how the scouting reports were done, and that's all things you do here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I had those guys and role models to look up to and kind of see how I would do it when I got the opportunity, which is now. So
yeah, and one thing I didn't plan to bring up, but you are a Chiefs fan, are you?
Yeah.
How'd that Super Bowl go?
We won't talk about that.
Not real well. All right. Well, when you were kind of sorting things out and looking at different options, pursuing different options, and I know as a young guy I was trying like heck just to get a foot in the door. Didn't have many options, so I went back to my old junior college where I had played, Iowa Central, to start my coaching career for my old coach. But let's start with you, Philip. What made you pick Chipola to kind of get your career kicked off, if you will?
A ton of people told me that Chipola had a great basketball program, and also it's in Florida.
Yeah.
Kind of beats Kansas City in those cold winters, except for the snow we had here lately.
Right.
I escaped that. But, just the tradition of Chipola basketball, and also knowing that I'd work for a really good head coach and a good community as well. So
yeah, good stuff. How about you, Willis?
Well, the transition from playing to coaching was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do specifically. I knew that I wanted to be in a place that was about winning. I knew that I liked the traditional, sense of Chipola that is all about, success here. And I knew I wanted to be a part of that. And obviously getting the opportunity to be under, DT as a coach and learn from somebody that's been around the game and done it for such a long time and has done it at such a high level. And I only saw the benefits of being able to be around something like that. And for me, at this stage in your career, being young and trying to figure it out, the more you learn early, I think it only helps you in 4, 5, 6 years, whatever your long-term goals might be. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, just building that foundation everyone needs. Sure. And speaking of goals, tell me your coaching goals in 5 years from now where you'd like to be or possibly be, and career goals of where you'd maybe like to end up and establish a career, Philip?
For a long time, I wanted to be like a high major head coach at Kansas because I grew up a KU fan.
Sure.
KU basketball was everything. But in the next 5 years, I'd like to be a Division I assistant. I just love that level and the competitiveness of that level. In total, I would like to make it to an NCAA tournament, be a part of March Madness. It's always been a dream of mine, so that'd be really cool.
It is cool. I've been a part of them as an assistant and head coach, and it's one of those opportunities very few get to have, but I think you're well on your way, man. How about you, Willis?
For me, my goal really is to work with pros. Like I really enjoy, being around that level of play. Like in a perfect world, it would be on an NBA staff somewhere, working out with, the world's best. If I'll shoot for the stars. That's how I am. That's how I always think.
That's great.
If not, it'll be at a Division I level, working my way to get there. You know what I mean? Like that's probably my 5-year plan, what I would want to do. Like I said, I love being around the game, and as long as I'm around it in some capacity, I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Well, I spent 4 years at the NBA level, and a lot of those guys that get started as player development guys, assistant coaches, etc., are guys that were players. They have that background. They're able to relate to the players. So I think you having been where you've been, played pro basketball, the fact that you can still play a little bit and get involved in drill work, etc., lends itself to you having a real chance to achieve that. So both of these guys, like I mentioned to start the show, are rising stars. And the last question I've got for them before we end this week's show is this year's team. We've been pretty good. We've been bad a couple nights. A little inconsistent. We fought through some injuries, right? Yeah. Got Miles, our best big man, healthy about January. And our team is slowly improving and getting better. We're 10th in the country. It's hard to complain about that. Yeah. But yet I don't think we're playing our best basketball still yet. Where do you think this team ends the season, maybe heading into postseason play? And what do you think our team is looking at the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, Willis?
I think, like I even mentioned the coach a couple of days ago, I think this was a point where it feel like every player at some point was getting better at something. It was the time of year pretty much where it feel like we were kind of turning the corner and making some really big strides. So I think, the bump in the road with the loss might have been, tough to swallow. But I do think that the progress that we're making right now is still going to continue past, let's say, what happened on Wednesday night. But I do think the sky's the limit for us. Our guys are working hard every single day, and I think that the spirits are in the right place. And with that, once the mindset and the spirit is right, the goal, the sky's the limit for us. I think me, like I said, I aim for everything. We winning it all. That's how I feel. That's my goal every day, and that's what we try to instill in our guys. So that's the goal.
Yeah. Philip?
Yeah, I agree with Willis. We've definitely had some ups and we've had some downs. But I think we're going to finish the season strong, turn that corner, and, who knows what will happen. So just one game at a time.
Yeah.
One game at a time.
Well, like Kermit Davis used to do to me, we'd won 3 or 4 in a row, and I felt like the coaching had been phenomenal, and then I let Willis and Philip coach Wednesday night, and we took the loss. So I'm going to take things back over like Coach Davis used to do, right, guys? No, but these guys do. They do a fantastic job. We're proud to have them in our organization. Like I mentioned, the future is bright for both of these guys. And if you get a chance, Chipola Nation, come out and watch us. Our last home game, March 1st against Northwest Florida, our arch rival. We hope to see you there. Go Indians.